la la la
Can we
la
harmonize?
la la la.
Welcome to Revelry Podcast. I'm your host, TikTok Mama. Today we are talking about anxiety, which I stay full of. May is the month of mental health awareness. So we chose this as our first topic for the month of May. So I know Teresa struggles with it. I know that Lorette struggles with it. And
I don't struggle with nothing.
Okay.
Look.
But yes, I do.
Yeah.
She's
so
in
funny.
the
I love
closet.
it. I love it.
She's
I love
in
it.
the closet.
I don't struggle with it, but I do struggle.
Yeah.
I like that.
I have a tremendous amount of anxiety, which I will go into detail about, that was actually debilitating for quite some time in my life. It was after several events of PTSD, like things just came down on me all at one time, and I crashed. I don't know if that's what they call a mental breakdown.
Mental
Panic
breakdown.
breakdown.
Panic attack.
A panic attack,
For
right?
you, it was
and
a
I had
crash.
to seek treatment.
Okay.
Okay, so my goal, we are not professionals.
Right.
We are
At all.
not. We are not professionals on this. We're not psychiatrists. We are just sharing our stories,
Our own
simply.
experiences.
So that's right. So this is a disclaimer, just to let you know that we are just sharing our story and hoping to point someone in the right direction.
Yeah.
What I want to do, what my goal is to normalize this topic. Is that a
Yes.
word?
Yes,
Yes.
normalize it and set people up so they have open and honest conversations.
Yes,
Right. Because
and
it's so stigmatized.
it is stigmatized. That's the S word I was looking for. But don't you feel like people, they need to hear that other people are going through it?
Yes.
Right? So before Jackie takes her deep breath, I just saw her. I'm gonna read from scripture. I'm just kidding. I took a few notes.
Let me read a word.
She brought a whole notebook,
I
people. If
did.
you're not watching us and you're listening to us, she has
Yes.
a whole notebook.
Are we supposed to
Yes.
go off the air now?
Should we? Should we go off the air? Do you mind? Okay, so we're cutting y'all off so that maybe you'll go watch the episode.
Yes, this is going to be a
Please
great
go look
one.
at it on
We got the
YouTube.
tissue paper ready.
Yep.
I wish Jackie wore my shoes because my size because I would steal those in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
know.
those are so UT. Okay, so we are not okay, I already said that. There's such a stigma that surrounds mental health. I want to talk about it, to normalize it, and have, just help people, right?
Right.
Ask if
Come a
people,
little bit closer.
sometimes people don't realize at what point in their struggle that they need to
Oh, that's
seek
facts.
professional help. And I was
And
trying
it's
to point
different for
For
everybody.
everyone.
Yeah.
Right. A brief view over anxiety is it impacts, and the impacts on mental health. Anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. It can manifest as physical. It can manifest as physical symptoms. Like rapid heartbeat. I have that one.
Oh, yeah.
I get rapid heartbeat, sweating and trembling.
Oh, yeah.
Prolonged anxiety can have a significant impact on your mental health and physical health, leading to issues like panic attacks, insomnia, and difficulty concentrating. Different people have different symptoms, right? Like my friend to my right, my left here, my right, y'all's right, my left. Lorette, she likes to be with somebody when she's having an attack. I want to be alone because
Yeah.
I feel like my crazy shows.
And that happened to us. Trisha was leaving my house, and I was having a panic attack, and I called her to come back in. And as long as someone's there, it goes away.
That's so
And-
good.
And she told me,
She
she's like,
asked
"Oh
for
no, I
help.
wouldn't have called you. I would want you to go away."
Yeah, I'm the
from
same
me."
way.
You wanna be
I want
alone?
to be alone. I need to. I have to be alone.
That's me.
And I'll tell you why.
I'm almost finished. Hold your thought. It's important to recognize when you need to speak, when you need to seek support from a mental health professional. It's so important. We'll discuss some of that. Everyone has down days. Everyone. People on my live are like, "Oh my gosh, Mama, you're so positive. You're so happy all the time." Nope. Not always. But the key is you can be there for a day or two.
Yep.
You cannot stay there.
Yeah.
And that's when, if you can't pull yourself out, you need to go. I have to talk to myself like, bitch, go wash your ass, get in the shower, and put on some makeup.
your own
and do your hair.
cheerleader.
Right.
Absolutely.
And because, it's so important how we speak to ourselves. Everyone has down days, just like I said. You just can't stay there. You can't worry and trust God simultaneously. Y'all, those don't go together.
That's
so
so
right,
hard, though.
fear and faith. No, amen. But a lot
Yeah.
of people that struggle with anxiety, I don't know how y'all do it, and y'all are atheists. I don't know. Look, he delivered me.
For the people who don't believe in God,
Yes,
there is a way.
there is. I just don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, God delivered me. So I spoke of, I was,
Yeah, what happened?
okay.
How did it start? Give
Okay,
us some
so I
context.
found out, I don't know if I should say that. My son was in an accident and we had to have surgery. My husband was in a horrific accident offshore. And then I found out some very disturbing news that
At the
affected
same-
my
all
child.
at the same time?
This was in 3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
your son has an accident, your husband has an accident, and you find out some news.
That
Okay.
affects my child.
And is this before you had self-diagnosed anxiety? You already had some anxiety prior to this?
I self-diagnosed.
Okay.
Never. No, that's not true. No, that is true. Never had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Never struggled with panic attacks,
Yeah.
anything like that. I was always kind of a nervous person, like on edge, type A, high-strung person. But I never had to go seek mental health from a professional. I never had to go do that until this point.
Okay.
And so I'm going to say Toriana was probably 4. She was going to Fellowship of the Woodlands preschool. She was 4. And so if she was born in 99, this is about 2001, 2. Yeah, my kids were in high school. The big kids were in high school. Praise God, right?
Yeah.
They could drive themselves to
Yeah.
school. They each had their own cars, and they would take their little sister, Amanda. Tristan and Marcus drove to school. I shut down. Y'all, I didn't know what it was. I was
So
in
you
and
Say
out of
shut
the
down.
ER.
What is shut down?
She did not get
I
out the
did not
bed.
go out of my house. I couldn't go to the grocery store. Everything led to a panic attack. I was in an emergency situation.
Okay.
Fight or flight.
Yes. My body was living in fight or flight, tunnel vision, just heart palpitations, blood pressures through the roof. Just this went on for a long time. My husband's like, I finally went to an ER visit, right, after multiple ER
Because that'll
visits.
give you anxiety.
Correct. And the doctor's like, you need to go see a psychiatrist. I'm like,
What you try to tell me?
like I was assured this was physical, right? Like I'm dying.
Oh, you thought there was
I-
physically.
yeah,
you had no idea this was your brain.
Correct, controlling my
Right.
body, right? That just makes me want to tell you how important it is, the thoughts that you allow in your head, right? The conversation you have with yourself. It's so important to be positive. So I'm going to say this now, and we're going to go on to somebody else. Did I finish?
I don't know. It's your story.
I don't think she finished.
I don't
Because
know.
After you were told, let me go seek, you need to go see a psychiatrist.
Yes. Oh, there you go. So I got the psychiatrist put me on emergency medicine and a SSRI.
Okay.
Okay. Zoloft. And this was
Way back when it first.
Mhm. It caused me to gain a bunch of weight, but anyway, it worked. It pulled me out of it.
That treatment helped you.
That
worked for
treatment,
you.
Yeah, but at that point, I never went and did psychotherapy, and by that I mean talk therapy.
Right.
Okay, I never had done that at that point. So my husband's like, and I'm like, I don't want to take medicine, right? I don't know if y'all struggle with that, but I'm like, I don't want to take medicine, right?
That's the hardest thing to deal with, but your professionals like this is what you need.
Yes.
It's chemical imbalance. You cannot, without medication, you can't get past it.
Yes.
You can't talk yourself away from that.
Now, I do believe, I don't know if it's true, but get on the treatment they tell you, but I think you can then learn coping mechanisms.
Yeah,
Exactly. Oh, yes,
right,
100%.
to where you can get yourself out of those situations.
And there's no
where you
time
see them.
frame. Some people are on it
Right.
forever. Some people are on it for 6
get
months.
off of, yeah, exactly.
So can you take us back real quick? So the people that are listening today,
Mm-hmm.
they relate exactly entirely to your story. So you hear this news. So you had heart palpitations. You had panic attack. Can you tell us, was there a day where you just stopped being the normal Trisha? Do you remember that?
Yes. I was in my room, and the doctors would ask me, "Are you depressed?" And I'm so joyful.
Right.
Right? But I was still struggling with this anxiety. I'm like, I can't tell you that I'm depressed, but I did these overwhelming feelings were causing me to get there. Like I didn't want to get out of bed. I was scared. I didn't want to leave my house, right?
You were scared of what? What were you?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, okay. That when it comes up in me, I feel like everybody can see the crazy. When like you want me to be with you or you want someone with you, don't look at me because I'm crazy right now.
So you felt like, because I can relate to this, you felt like if you went to the grocery store by yourself,
Yep.
you were
The panic attack's gonna start
yes.
right
And
then.
somebody is going
and
to.
I can't, and they're gonna see my crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna see
I
my
can
crazy.
relate.
So the kids, my older kids knew what was going on. Toriana didn't understand what was going on. I was in my room a lot, in my bed. My husband's begging me, like the doctor put me on a regimen, SSRI, and an emergency one. I didn't take the emergency one for long at all. Once the SSRI started kicking in and working, it fixed it. But at that point, I never did talk therapy. Okay, so years on Zoloft, I got off fine, no problems. I haven't been on it in forever. I don't know how many years, over 10.
That's great.
And recently, I think in December of this year, it reared its ugly head, and it came back stronger than it was before. So this time I did, after going to the psychiatrist, I knew what was going on this time, but I'm like having a panic attack and a little bit of hypochondriac, having a panic attack in my cardiologist's office, right? Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean,
it
for
just-
someone that deals with anxiety, I say of course, because that would set me off too. But
So this time, the doctor's like, I want you to do talk therapy because there's things obviously going on from my childhood, right, that are bringing this back, and I got to conquer this. And I want to conquer this, and I want to equip myself with the tools and the education to not have to keep
Empower yourself.
There you go. There you go. So, but I am, just to let everybody know, right now, Mama's on medicine, and that's
There's
okay.
nothing wrong with that.
And the gang, right? That's okay. But we want to talk about, just get into it, dig into it a little deeper. We want people to know some of the signs that when you are that far in, you got to know. People around you have to know and say, hey, this is not, like, I think you need to.
it's so hard though
It
to approach
is.
somebody and say, because I struggle with anxiety, very similar to yours, where I didn't want to be home alone. I mean, I was a married woman with kids, and that was before FaceTime was around, and I would Skype my mom, who lived 3 houses down, for me to trust that she was going to be at her house in case I had a panic attack.
Bless you.
Okay. And if she left the room and she didn't hear, I mean, it was like, I felt like I had shackles on my feet and on my hands and everything on me.
Yeah.
Because my trauma stemmed from sexual abuse.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's where I did go see a psychiatrist. Because even though you mentioned a lot of side effects and a lot of things that it could affect, it can also affect your relationships.
Oh,
It can
that,
affect your marriage.
honey,
It-
absolutely.
So that, for me, I lost some friends because they didn't understand why I wouldn't show up to events that I said I was going to go to. And I would make every excuse because I was so scared, embarrassed, afraid to say, I'm so sorry, I can't go without my husband because I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. Now if I'm like, hey, Trisha, I can't go because I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. I'm 50, I'm older, I'm more confident in what I struggle with. But back then, you didn't hear about mental health days or panic attacks freely as we do now. So
I mean, I think they call, not to interrupt you,
No,
I'm
you're
sorry, but I think they called it something different. I know when, say, the first time I seen someone, honestly, have a panic attack, and I know y'all hear me talk about my grandmother jumped from the top of the stairs, and you guys never been to a house, but just imagine the stairs in my house,
Okay.
from the second floor to the bottom, because she didn't want to go on anymore because my grandfather had died, right? And all her sisters died like 1 month, and she couldn't take it anymore. So she, like, I'm a strong person, right? She was a strong person. That's where I learned it from, right? But when I seen her
Jumped like she
You
wanted to commit
witnessed it?
suicide.
yeah,
She
she
was trying to
jumped.
kill herself.
Yeah, she said it was no use to been. And my daddy opened the door, and he was like, "What in the hell is wrong with you, Mom?" And after that,
How old were you, Jackie, when you witnessed that?
I had to be about 11. But then after that, she did go, and then she called them her nut pills. And then she was on Valiums, and my
But
sister.
see, that was
Mama
old
raised
school.
all of us on
And
Valium.
so she,
That was old school terminology.
right. And
Yeah.
so,
You can't.
Yeah.
You almost don't want to.
but it was so much.
Yeah.
And she didn't know, like, in her, you didn't go talk to nobody, right? So the only thing she knew is that she didn't know why she was left. Let's just say that, right? And I was like, well, what I'm gonna do? Because I'm a child. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Why are you hurting yourself? What am I gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And she just looked at me, and she got up off the floor like nothing had happened, and walked back up the stairs. And that thing, my daddy say, she is crazy than a motherfucker.
Jackie, that was a core memory for you, wasn't it?
But I can tell you when I had one,
Bless it.
right? I had
Oh, you
two.
did.
2 in my life. No, 3. I had one recently when I came here, and Lorette hugged me and took me, because when y'all say y'all want to be alone when you have them, I understand. Because the day we were supposed to shoot, we ran to Pink, and I told you I couldn't take it. I wasn't going nowhere. And y'all was like, no, we can't do it without you. You get here.
Friend.
And when I came here, she hugged me, and I just started crying, because if somebody touches me, that brings it out. I don't want to be touched.
So this heifer gets anxiety. She just don't want to. She's so hardcore. She don't want to be touched or admit it.
Was that
I
your-
don't. I
wait,
don't wanna
wait,
be
Was that
touched.
your first?
Yeah.
my first.
You were her first. Let me let y'all have your moment.
That's understandable. Yeah, because I can agree. Like, I don't like to be touched. If anything,
Ever or just when you're having one?
No, I mean, to Jackie's point, it's all situational, because I know my triggers.
Right.
It takes a lot for people to know their triggers. I have stress-induced anxiety, so I know every single one of my triggers. So like you said, coping mechanisms. So I have coping mechanisms. I see a psychiatrist. I see a therapist. Talk therapy is amazing. I love it. Everybody should go to a therapist. I know not everybody can afford it, and I hate that our system is like that. But if you can, I do recommend seek therapy. And I do take medicine. They upped my medicine recently because I was having to take my as needed anxiety pills, the Perpoliflone. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know, but I can tell when you don't take it.
I take my medicine all the time. You cannot tell. You're talking about is Vyvanse. Don't do that, because that's not what I take. My anxiety medicine all the time.
What is Vyvanse?
Vyvanse is
Vyvanse
ADHD medication.
Okay, yeah, that's
I
it.
don't take
That's
ADHD.
it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That.
So, but I take my medicine religiously. But yeah, I've had panic attacks. I suffered a bout of depression, and it put me out, because, like Trisha said, I didn't want to get out the bed. I didn't want to brush my. I did 2 weeks didn't brush my teeth. That's disgusting. That is freaking disgusting. But again,
Were you married?
I was. Yeah, it happened back in 20. Right before I got diagnosed, 2021.
Okay, so before I was gonna ask you, was it after your diagnosis?
It was right before, but it wasn't because of the diagnosis. Just because your thyroid, it plays such a
Yes.
big part of your physical
Absolutely.
well-being. So my thyroid had thyroid storm, and that produced like a depression, and I could not get out of it. And I was like trying to get out of it. My husband didn't know, because he had the same mindset I said. Just get over it. Think
Yeah.
of something else. Go
Right.
exercise. I'm like,
It were only that easy,
and
right?
I'm screaming and crying. I was like, I cannot. I wish I could. I cannot. I'm getting more anxiety because you're telling me this, and I'm having panic attacks. And then finally, week 2, and I called my therapist. I said, please come get me. Just come get me, because I can't do this anymore. I can't. So he picked me up, and he took me to his office, and he's like, let's talk. So it took a lot. It
That's
took
a
lot.
great therapist.
That's,
Yeah, it
that's
is.
a great therapist.
I need his number.
Yeah, because Trish, to be honest, in December 16th is when you had that second panic attack,
You remember that?
and you never told me, but I knew.
But friend, Jackie, to that point right there, I never told people before, and I'm trying to normalize
open
it
up,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And until I told y'all I was going through
You
it,
said
right?
I'm having a hard time right now,
Yep,
friend, and
yep.
I was like, I can
But
tell,
we
because you
witnessed
kept
it before,
saying
too.
your blood pressure, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Remember
And when we was
Jamaica?
in Jamaica, And I sat there and watched you turn 10 shades of red.
And we were
was
like, we gotta go.
Oh, no, we gotta go.
We gotta go. And
Like,
people
we
were,
all
trying to-
switched.
Yes. No,
Let's go. We going
because
home.
we know. And then
And I was like,
one
no,
of your friends
she
was trying to
gotta-
talk to her.
Yeah,
I
I was
said, no,
like,
you
no.
need
You're
to leave
about
her
to raise your
alone.
blood pressure now.
You saw-
I'm the same way. Do not talk about my blood pressure when my blood pressure is up, people.
Yeah.
That is like blood pressure.
But to your point, the physical, like
Symptoms?
the symptoms,
Right.
They have medication that they give you that it's not like a psychedelic. It is what they give to high blood pressure patients because it takes down the physical. Because for me, my anxiety gets worse because of the physical symptoms.
Right.
So
Same.
once they get down, I can think
Well,
about it. And
I
use
need
my
that.
coping
I
skills.
told
I-
you though
It's a,
that
it's a hormone imbalance.
I told her
I need that.
that your blood pressure was going up because of the stresses in your life.
Right.
Correct.
I was going through that. What amazed me about you when we went to Uncorked, okay, just the other day, you guys were already there. I'm walking in with Trisha, and I held her hand, and she was shaking. I said, "You okay? Why are you shaking?" She goes, "I'm so nervous." And I looked at her. I'm like, "You're nervous?" And she goes, "Yeah, I have social anxiety."
Yep.
I said, "You
She does.
have social
She
anxiety?"
does.
The first time she told me that, I looked at her, I was like, you cannot.
It's impossible.
I know, y'all, but
But
I be
this-
acting.
No,
You do good.
Acting.
But you do
what my
good.
point is that a lot of people that see you might think there's all shades and forms that have social anxiety. You would think someone like you would not. I know people that have social anxiety that their personality matches that.
They're an introvert.
Right.
They're a recluse.
Right.
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 Right. Right.
So you handle that very well. I don't think you give yourself enough credit for that, because for you to sit here and say you have social anxiety and you have 4 million people that follow you
Right.
and you do these videos and you go to
You go
so
live
many
every day.
live
or
every day, go to public places.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Trisha is my role model because I suffer from social anxiety as well. So every time I'm like, okay, she's got this. She can do it. I can do it. She,
Right.
Right.
She's always.
See, I would never know that about you either.
Right. Yeah.
She's the one
Yeah.
We
She
be
is
faking
very
it,
hard
right?
on herself. When we tell her all the time, you are hard on yourself. I'm like, no, babe, you got
We
it.
all
you
are.
got it.
Yeah.
You hard on yourself. Yeah. And I know sometimes when we try to make things perfect, I know me, I want to handle it all by
you're a
myself.
perfectionist too. Yeah, you don't want
when
anybody helping
no,
you. Right?
and when I can't fix it, it drives me nuts. And
Yeah.
that's when I start.
Well, you're a fixer.
Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I
See, that
gonna
right
do?
there too, because you want to have control and you have to have control. It's
I
not
have to
because you're
have-
trying to be an asshole. It's
I
like
have
this.
to
You
have
need it
control.
in order to like.
That's the only way I can
Yeah.
know where I'm going. If I can't control it, and that's part of my problem with, I guess, letting people in, because I can't control what you're going to do to me.
Oh, wow.
That's
No,
very deep.
That's
understand
good. You
that?
recognizing that
God.
though,
I know
Jackie.
that.
That's
Yeah.
so
I know
good.
that about me.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
What did someone
Because I
do
got
to you?
fucked o- I mean, I got messed over by someone that was a friend. And it didn't happen once. It happened by 2 different people that I thought were friends, like used to hang out with
Wow.
me. And that drove me bunkers, really. I was going to jail. I was going, like,
Yeah.
I remember this story.
Because
He's
Jackie
coming
is
a
not
little
a
bit.
crier.
because I
Yeah.
am a psychopath.
Well,
She's a
you're-
fighter. Because she's
Yeah.
not a crier. Because one thing about Jackie, if you make her cry, she gonna fight.
Oh.
Don't make her
no,
cry.
no, yeah.
If a tear drops,
And then that's when my anxiety
yeah.
gets,
Kicks
and
in.
I can't control it.
So you're like, you want to guard yourself from getting close to people because you don't want those thoughts to come back. You don't want to feel that pain. I mean, we all
They
do
are.
that.
understandable.
They're there.
But don't you also feel like, don't let those 2 sour apples ruin it for everybody else, because
True.
there's more good than there is bad
True.
in this world.
There is.
I don't want you to miss out on great relationship or opportunities because 2 people fucked it up.
She
I-
keeps
and you
her
know what?
guard up though, because that's her
You
defense
said that.
mechanism. She keeps
I
her.
don't want to do that, and it
Yeah.
takes me a long time.
I
Yeah.
understand.
I know people are good, right? I know everybody is not like them,
Right.
And I'm trying not to be so reactive, right? Because sometimes we get in, like when you say flight or fight, I'm fighting, but I'm fighting a different way.
Yeah.
I'm physically like, you're not gonna do this.
We're gonna-
But I've seen you
We're
come
gonna
so
call you
far.
Little
Like on our
Scrappy.
like in our workouts, like there have been plenty of times Jackie could have said something to these stank heifers, but she kept it
Wait,
cool.
in the workout?
Yeah.
Who
Girl,
is
yes.
fighting at
But
the workout?
I-
I'm not going to the
she
gym with
also-
you.
She knows her temper.
She
You
knows her
know not
temper.
to engage. on those small
this is the
things,
thing-
she's
and
like,
comes
I'm not
Jackie.
even going
Well,
to
I ain't
engage
fucking with him.
because
I ain't fucking with that. I ain't messing with that.
yeah, no, that I get that. I get
when
that.
I hear that,
It is hard.
I know we have to walk away. Come on, Jackie, let's walk away.
It is hard, and I am trying my best.
But
I
you
think
do recognize it, though.
I
You don't.
recognize it, but baby, don't let me get one. If I smell some liquor,
Yucca.
baby.
Oh, I know that.
Okay, so Jackie, right now, if you had anxiety,
Mhm.
would you be shameful or would you ask for help?
I would be shameful.
Lorette, you.
Oh, I would ask for help. Because I've been through the shameful part.
Yes.
I've been
Yes.
there.
Teresa, you?
I'd be asked for help because I'm not ashamed of it. It's a part of me. So
That's right. That's right. But I do agree that it can be a chemical thing.
It is.
Right?
Mhm.
And I also think that it can be PTSD induced.
oh God, yes, it's
It-
a
it-
range of things.
Yeah, a wide array, yes.
Mhm.
That's the word because I couldn't say it.
Yeah, I was feeling what you was putting down. I do not have shame now. I want to normalize this. I want to encourage people to ask for help. I want people to recognize
But
you're
know,
not
right.
alone.
Because I did not realize, because all my life I've had IBS, right? And I never knew it was stress-induced IBS. And growing up, it was very hard. So I was always throwing up or taking shit, like whatever. I could
Yeah.
not keep weight on
Is
me at
that
all.
why I have that?
IBS, yeah, girl, yes, stress-induced. So it wasn't until I was doing the
I did-
custody battle with the girls in 2012
Oh.
that I dropped. I don't know if you remember this. I went from like my comfortable 145 down to $105.
Damn.
You
It don't never work like that for me.
You
So
were
at
you don't eat
145?
when you're stressed.
When I'm stressed,
Shit.
I cannot eat. I try to force myself
Could
to
you
eat.
hear
I will
me?
throw it up. I cannot eat. I wish I could, and that's why I sought out a registered dietitian this time around because I was telling her I cannot eat. I need you to help
was
me.
that beneficial?
So beneficial.
Are you learning?
I am learning. She's getting me so many tips as far as like I knew how to like look at my protein and all that, all my nutrients, but she helped me like what I need to eat when I'm feeling most stressful. So that like help me get the calories keep them up down.
Yeah.
I wish
But I can tell when you're stressed. And
Oh,
when,
yeah.
when I call you and you be like, I haven't eaten all day. Girl, what is wrong? Do you need me to DoorDash you?
She's like,
some
something.
chicken?
Yeah.
Let me get
You
you
know,
some
I be
chicken.
like, let me get you some chicken, baby.
I know it's also being a busy mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
You work, you have a full house, you have a husband. That's a full load.
I do the stress to myself, the anxiety, because I catastrophize everything. So my daughters know now when they call me, Mom, everything's okay. Because the minute they call me, they're dead in the ditch. I don't know
Yeah.
why. That's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
instinct. And Jackie's
Yeah.
like, come on, Teresa. I'm like,
You
I didn't
can't.
do it.
I
I
do
do
not
it.
cannot do that.
You cannot control those thoughts.
Oh, man,
we
I
need
wish
to
I could.
We all
try
have 'em.
to. We need to try to, control that internal dialogue that we have with ourselves.
But it's so important to recognize it because I recognize. I know I catastrophize shit. I know I stress about shit that I shouldn't be stressing about. Like I think you gave me a helpful tip about work the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but it was very helpful. But like, don't stress about this. They don't know you, and something to that
Right, and I
effect.
was like, get up and just go walk down the street,
Like-
to the stop sign and come back because
Like, you're
you know
stressing
you're
over this
stressed out about this, and I always say, we are stressed ourselves out about doing this. Like we're all busy, right? Lorette is busy; she has her own business. Trish is busy; she has her own business. We are in corporate, so we got different things, deadlines and KPIs we have to meet
Oh,
and
Lord,
things
yeah.
like that, and it stress you out. You stress out and you don't eat all day. And you be going 100 miles an hour. And I be like, God damn. Girl, slow down. My brain don't function like that. I got to take a minute to digress what you trying
Right.
to tell me. And then I can get sidetracked. Because I will do 9 things at one time.
Me,
I'm
the
all
same way.
over.
Yeah,
I'm all over
yeah.
that computer. I'm responding to everybody and looking at my phone.
Yeah.
And then when I mess up and somebody said, oh, you put an I there and it's supposed to have been a T. I was like, really? Did you really say that? Just spell check it. Then I get mad and then I want to fight.
you see?
it's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle. And I'll be like,
You better dot those I's and cross those T's,
hey,
girl.
I'm in
So-
there like,
But I'm so glad that you do recognize the anxiety because, like you said, there's
Yes.
such a stigma, and I think it's more so in the minority crowd.
Absolutely.
I think right now, though, everybody is starting to recognize it. And I know a
Yes.
lot of jobs do offer what is it
Mental
called?
Health
EA
Day?
They
Yeah.
call it EAP.
I
Okay.
hate you.
And you can pick up the phone if you're having.
Yes.
They have a number you can call.
Okay, so tell us. I'm not in corporate. What does that mean?
So it's a emergency line that you can call, like if you're having
Employment?
a breakdown.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
the Employment Assistance
Assistance
program,
program.
but now it's called. It starts with a C. Now they changed it.
that
but,
was
yeah.
not around in the 70s or the 80s.
No.
or
So
the
now
90s.
if you call, long as you're not, they'll you can have somebody, and then they'll get you someone else. It
Yes.
will refer you somewhere.
I feel
right?
like after 9/11, a lot of
things
were implemented
Yeah.
in the workplace. A lot of trauma happened. A lot of people felt
Yeah.
unsafe after 9/11. Right? That was a big trigger for me.
Can I be
It was a
honest?
big
I'm going to
trigger.
be completely honest because I don't know what demographic watches us, and I'm sure there's from young to older.
Right.
But if I were to tell my dad, who has his own business, has employees, Dad, do you have this number for your employees to call? He would look at me like I was crazy. Because back, like in their day,
Right.
that wasn't a thing. Like my dad would tell me, my dad left me in the woods for 2 days to show me how to survive. And that's a real story at 14. So if I tell him, is there a number for mental health? He would look at me like,
It's
what
it's
are you
through the
talking?
insurance.
Yes.
But
But
Lorraine,
my
I
point
get you.
is
I
that
get you.
ba-
Yeah.
like old school,
Was different.
I think over 60, 70-year-old people in this, like that generation could not relate to what we're talking about.
Mama raised 7 kids on Valium.
That's what I'm
So,
saying.
and that's what I'm
They
saying.
would
Like
tell
my
you to go
mom's, I
pray.
said, she's like, back in my day, we didn't have that. I said, back in your day, it wasn't good. Just because you didn't have it doesn't mean it was the right way.
Yeah.
right.
They would tell us to
That's
go
right.
pray.
That's
Go pray to
right.
God.
Go
Yeah.
pray.
Yep. You go pray.
When my dad
I
told
said,
me,
how's that working out for your mom?
my dad told me when I was pregnant with Isa.
I'm saying like they looking at it.
Poor your mom. Your poor mom.
Like, dude, like seriously, like don't not you, but like that generation.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, of course. I know. I
don't invalidate what's
That's
going
right.
on. Like that is such a big slap in the face. I'm sitting here telling you, I'm being vulnerable enough to tell you, and you're sitting here back in my day with, motherfucker, did I ask?
And it's not easy to be this. It takes so much strength to be vulnerable.
Yes.
It does.
Like,
And you know what I do think, though, back in the day when they did have their panic attacks, right?
Because they did have
They
them.
did have
Yeah.
them. They were,
What did
you know,
they label them?
they
They
still
smoked
had it.
cigarettes.
I
don't
think they called them
did.
mental breakdowns.
They would
Yeah.
have a mental breakdown. So that girl then flipped out. She had
Yes.
the psych ward.
She
in the
flipped
crazy
her
house.
wig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
they
I
would
did.
go in there and they would go and they would have the same thing.
Yeah.
You had people that couldn't come outside. You had people that
Yeah.
was depressed and they stayed inside.
Yeah.
And somebody else was taking care of the kids. The neighbor, somebody would watch the kids, and they just like, oh, that girl crazy, and they keep on going. Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't no therapy. Wasn't no pills for it at the time. They would just do what they needed to do. And
Yes.
it just moved on. Right. So it's been around. It just wasn't spoken about.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just say that. That's all.
So since you do recognize anxiety, I mean, because we're not our parents, if one of the boys were to come up to you and say, "Mom, I think I'm suffering from anxiety," not one, do you think they will be able to come up to you, and two, how do you think your reaction would be?
I would get them help, right? For the simple fact, my kids did have it, right?
That's what I'm saying. I
My
can't say
oldest
that, yeah.
one had it bad.
Right.
At what
Right.
age, Jackie?
They both went into it a little bit when their father passed.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
that's
Because-
understandable.
Saying that, yeah.
Right, because and I didn't know what. That's the first time I actually didn't know what to do.
Isn't it crazy how our kids teach us this? Like,
Because when my father passed suddenly on vacation. He went on his first vacation and died. Right. So I didn't. It was just like, you got to fix it. You got to move it on.
you
gotta
had no
fix it.
time to like even cope
No.
with it.
So I fixed it because now it left. My dad was the only child. I'm the only child.
Yeah.
So when he passed, my grandmother, the one that recently passed, everybody had passed in our family. So it was just me, her, and him.
Wow.
So then that killed her, right? I thought I lost a part of her. So then 2 years later, I had to call my kids. Well, Jai was still in high school. I had to call Gerard home he was trying out for the Cowboys. I had to call him home so his
Man.
daddy could tell him he was passing, right? Because he didn't want anybody else
To tell them,
to tell
yeah.
his story, right? So we're in the hospital and I am freaking out because I am like, oh my God, like he just got diagnosed. We went through chemo. He rung the bell. He did radiation, and it spread to his, everywhere. So he had, and they thought he was fine. So then when he told him, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, these kids are gonna freak out. And when he told his story, and he told them he would never be here in the physical anymore, but he'll always be with them spiritual, right? So like 3 or 4 days later, he passed. Gerard was with him.
Oh, my God.
So, and I wasn't there. I was at home because it was like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So when Gerard called me, all I could do was jump up and go. And I had to make sure nobody told the youngest because they were having those tests in December.
Oh yeah.
And so when I got to the
Midterms.
hospital, he was just running through he was in the parking garage. He was just running all the way up to the park. I was like, boy, I'm fat. I can't catch you. You got to stop. Run.
Get your ass over
And I
here.
was like, I can't do it. The hospital, that thing was like that. That killed me. I was like, okay, I'll wait for you and come back. But when he did, and I just had to hold him like a baby. And I couldn't stop him. And I could see he was panicking because he was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I can't. And then I was like, hold on. It's going to be all right. I had to do my mommy thing, but then I'm on the phone like, hey,
What am I gonna do?
hey, I don't have the skills for this. I don't. Like,
You got
Yeah,
him
he's
help.
oh yeah, I was going to get him help. But he didn't want it.
Okay.
He spoke to my grandmother who,
Right.
and she talked him off the edge. And then that was okay. And that's kind of why I guess he's so attached to me now extra because of that. But then it's like every time I call him, it's like I'm calling him to tell him something about someone passing.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
he has
PTSD.
that.
Yeah.
Flash-
So you just say, son, everything's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time I try to
Lead
call him
with
during
that.
the day. I'm like, hey, how
Don't
you
call
doing?
him at
Hey,
5 in
call
the
him at
morning.
night.
If you call him at night, mama, what happened?
Right. So yeah.
So, out of 4 women at the table, 3 of us take SSRIs.
See who the same one is.
Look at her.
But I will tell you that
Jackie's
is
the cornerstone.
yes, it's and maybe and that's great. I mean, I applaud that.
Wow.
But there's people that need it and don't
Right.
take it, and there's people that take it and really don't need it
True.
anymore. And there's so many different people that are on or off it. But I feel like if you need it, there should be no shame in it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
no
not.
shame in that.
Absolutely
Because
not.
it is a chemical. I mean, I've known people that are in depression and they've had friends tell them, it's okay. Just, read your Bible more or go out and get some sun. It's not that when you're in depression, that's something that I haven't suffered, but I've seen someone go through it. There is nothing you can tell them.
Right.
There's absolutely
You're right,
nothing.
because I was one of those people. Just go outside. Go think about something else. Go watch a movie.
It's
Yeah.
dismissive.
It's very dismissive. I was extremely dismissive. I felt like an asshole because I was so dismissive. And then I feel like the universe was like, okay, bet. You want to say that it's nothing? Bet. Here you
Yeah.
go. And
And it hit you with
hit
the
me.
best
I was
shot.
like, damn, I feel
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm over here apologizing to everybody. I feel bad because I'm like,
But
shit.
I didn't understand that anxiety and depression actually go hand in hand.
It does.
I didn't understand that because they're like, "Are you depressed?" No, I'm not. I'm just having anxiety attacks. Make it stop.
I felt myself going into depressive mode, but I was a couple of weeks ago, and when y'all see me get silent, that's when I'm getting to my depressive mode.
Okay.
And I was talking to Ryan because I don't do. It took a lot for me to be vulnerable, so I said, "Hey, babe." I walked into the office. I said, "I feel myself get into depressive mode. I need your help. I need your help right now. I don't know what to do." And he's like, just cry, just cry. And so I just let it all out, and I was just crying. And he's like, "I'm gonna take the kids tonight. We're gonna go somewhere. You just breathe, relax, and just do your thing." And it helps.
Well, you
Nice.
said it. You know what your triggers
Trigger.
are. You know
That's-
when it's coming, and you can reach out for help. Somebody that's maybe watching you can't do that right now, but you, like you said, you learn your habits, learn what is going to trigger you. Talk to somebody. If you don't have a husband or a wife, a best friend, a mom, a sister, a grandmother, if you can't afford to go see a therapist, someone that you trust, reach out to them. It's better than keeping it inside.
That's right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Always ask for help.
Right.
You're not alone. We're in this together.
You are not alone.
Alone. I am here with you.
Come on, Jackie.
Though you're far away, you're always in my heart.
Here we go. I'm on the
You
stage.
are not alone.
But
Okay,
no, I found my best therapist, psychiatrist on Psychology Today.
there you go.
Psychology Today.
PsychologyToday.com.
With Google and all the resources that we have today.
They have telehealth.
Yes.
Girl, yes.
But
Doctor
y'all-
on
y'all-
Demand.
Let's get rid of the stigma that surrounds mental health.
Amen.
Let's encourage one another. Be kind. And we're going to post some numbers that if you need help at the end of this segment, reach out. There's no shame in that. None at all.
No, just know we're there too.
Yes.
Yep.
Everybody but
Even the
Jackie.
hardcore person.
I'm there right with them. I just don't take the meds. I might need them, but I haven't been subscribed.
She needs everything we're taking, actually.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Jackie?
Yes, and please make sure to follow us on anywhere that you do get your podcasts. Bye, guys.
Bye.